Look, I'm just as surprised as you are. But you know what? Your boy's back. Welcome to the Happy Hour podcast with Streamline Woodshop, sponsored by Banana Bag. Your clinically proven pharmacy grade hydration. I just had one of these bad boys because I'm looking to have some fun tonight and I don't want to feel bad about it tomorrow. So I was just in the shower before I got down here and I realized that I don't wash my feet. And I couldn't think of a time in my life that I've ever washed my feet, like taking a rag or a loofah or even just a bar of soap to my feet. And I know what you're thinking. Mark, you probably got some stanky ass dogs. But that's not the case. My feet are beautiful. I've shown them to people in the public before. And I'm often asked if I'm from royalty, just based on my feet. But they are probably the least touched appendage. Is a foot an appendage? It's on my leg. Pretty sure a leg's an appendage. But they aren't touched that often and very sensitive and not in a kinky way. But yeah, I don't wash my feet. And I don't intend to start. To be honest with you, I don't know if you're a foot washer, if you're one of those people, but I'm here to tell you, you don't need to do it. My feet smell of lavender. They look like, well, I mean, if I'm being honest, pale as shit. They are almost transparent, but clean. Not a fungi, not the nails are trim. Everything's right with my feet. Got a good episode for you today. This is episode number 3. And I was graced with the presence of a man who doesn't need much of an introduction, but this is an intro, so I'll give him one. Jonathan Katz-Moses, founder of KM Tools. He goes by Jonathan, just so you know. I want to call him Johnny Katz. I like Johnny Katz. I mean, it's a really missed opportunity, but he wants to be called Jonathan. We'll stick with that. I'm not here to upset anybody. But we had a great talk. I was very lucky to have this opportunity. We touched on bourbon. We touched on entrepreneurial endeavors. We touched on the social media world. And we even talked about relationships, a little man-on-man relationship conversation. So check it out. Belly up, grab a drink, and enjoy. So I broke out the good stuff for you. This is Old Overhort.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever had that.
Probably because it's like $12 a bottle. But if you're into a rye type of whiskey, this is your hands down cheapest, best you can get at 100 proof. It's my go-to shitty shot. Yeah.
I'm a big bourbon guy. I got a bunch of. What else do I have on my desk here? I just finished this. I think there's actually a sip left. Weller 107.
I know this.
I just got a bottle of the Weller Choose Your Perfect Barrel, the white label, which I got for a pretty good deal, honestly. And then my buddy just found 6 bottles of single barrel at a Pavilions in LA for like $120 a bottle.
What's the Pavilions?
You never find that for cheaper than like 2. It's like our grocery store, and every once in a while you'll walk in and get lucky, or the liquor manager didn't know that they could keep stock in the back, so they'll just put all 6 bottles up front. You're like, oh yeah, I'll take all of those. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We're always on the hunt for Blanton's, just because I've never seen it anywhere other than a duty-free, shop at an airport or something, and I'm never on that flight.
Oh man, when you come to California, the liquor store that is 30 seconds from my house has everything. It's like Pappy, Blanton's, E.H. Taylor, Weller, Elmer Teagley, just endless amounts of bourbon. It's not cheap, but
sure. What part of California?
Santa Barbara, California.
Now I'm geographically inclined.
Yeah.
Declined. I don't know what that would be. I don't know where things are. So where's Santa Barbara in the
100 miles north of LA.
Okay.
I'm
so
right
that
on
would
the coast.
be 300. What is San Francisco from LA? That's
I'm 350 south of San Francisco.
I almost nailed that. That was
You
close.
did. You were listen, man. I feel like you're Carmen San Diego at this
I
point.
did a lot of West Coast. When I lived in Portland, we did a bunch of work in the LA, San Francisco, and kind of
Mhm.
went up and down, but always in the air. So I'm not familiar with the land
Fair.
necessarily. I did drive to Temecula from LA one time to look at a
Okay.
shop down there, but
Nice. Yeah, I know Temecula, the 909 baby.
yeah. Well, man, I thank you for coming on this. I'm kind of stoked because you're Jonathan Katz-Moses.
Thank
Everybody
you.
knows Jonathan Katz-Moses. Uh, but I didn't get to even know who you were even a little bit until like a year ago. So for me, I get to learn everything.
That's awesome. I mean, listen, I am not so important that I'm glad you don't know who or didn't know who I was. We don't need to inflate my ego too much.
Why not?
I don't know that I'd be able to leave the office. I'd be stuck in here. The doors are only so wide.
I think there was whoever did it, because I only started my Woodshop social media where I started like working at social media like a little over a year ago. And there was somebody that did he was in his garage type of wood shop, and he was like mimicking all the main guys in the business. I don't know who
It
this
was a YouTube video. It was
It was on Instagram, but he might have did. But it was a real quick one.
yeah.
And so somebody did your voice, but I didn't know who anybody was,
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, who the fuck are these people, like. So I go through, and then that's how I found Jonathan Katz-Moses, who
He did
doesn't
a
know how
real
to show
good,
up without saying his name.
right? Jonathan Katz-Moses. The guy did a great
Yeah.
impression of me. It's funny, guys. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14, and I think I haven't had a boss since I was about 19 or 23, depending on how you count it. But every company I've ever had, all the employees would either behind my back or in front of me do Jonathan impersonation contests.
Yeah.
So I had a construction company where we ended up, we had 30 to 50 people, depending on how many projects we were on. So every Christmas party, there would be a Jonathan impersonation contest where, by round of applause, who won, and there'd be a prize. And it was always a lot of fun. I love it.
Who's the reigning leader?
Oh God, what was his name? Javier Borgatello he lived about 45 minutes away. Him and his whole family worked for me, and they would drive up every morning like in a truck full of dudes, just squished in the back, and they would work their ass off. And he did an amazing dead on Jonathan, but it was also the delivery was real good. Like he got all my mannerisms and my craziness and all those things. So
that's going to sell an impression. So are you California born and raised?
Yes, I am. I was born in San Jose, California. Lived there till right before my 19th birthday, and I moved down to Santa Barbara 22 years ago. I'm 42. Never left. I love it here. It's gorgeous. And now I have a daughter, and I co-parent with her mom. So
what does that mean? That's a nice way of saying
nice way of saying we're divorced, and
okay.
I've 50% custody of my daughter, and I love being a dad. I'm sure you've seen on Instagram. She's my little best friend, and we love to do stuff. And had this funny moment recently. I was volunteering at the STEAM program. She just started kindergarten. And I'm in there, and they're building robots, and it's like this program. Teachers already cut out all the pieces. Kids have to assemble them with brads, and she's explaining how to do it. And I would later find out it took most of the kids about 15, 20 minutes to do it. But while she's explaining it, my daughter raises her hand and says, "Can I have some markers?" And she's like, "Oh, well, why is that?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm done." I was like, "Yeah, that's my daughter." STEAM. She can build her way around. She build a house around you guys right now.
I love it.
So it was pretty cute.
I was the exact opposite of the kid. I just said, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
I'm going home.
That was me. I was like,
yeah.
Are there any felonies I could commit while you do this?
So you've been on your own since 19, essentially. We can relate to that a little bit. I mean, I did start with some apprenticeships here and there, but how did you get going so young?
I was working in advertising. I was working in radio. I was doing voiceover and selling advertising.
What
And
did you sound like at 19?
so I'm still, to this date, in Santa Barbara, 42 years old. It's been 20 years or so. I am still the guy on the Spanish radio station here in Santa Barbara that goes, 94.9, La Precioso. That's still me to this day. I hit the tags.
Yeah.
I hear somebody in the background even laughing. That's a good one. That story usually crushes in a bar.
Yeah.
But I was, I did like, what's a 8-second bull ride feel like? It's like riding a freight train. It's like that's coming to the Santa Barbara County Fairgrounds, the
Yeah.
Fiesta Rodeo, where cowboys are men, and it's like you do read some script.
That's like that the cousin Jimmy
Yeah.
right? Like that 70s style of like
Mm-hmm.
I hear it a lot in the horror movies that we watch.
Right.
Or cousin Brucey.
Yes, cousin Boosie.
Yeah.
I actually worked at one of the radio stations I worked with. I worked with Tony the Tiger, a guy named Lee Marshall, who did the voice for Tony the Tiger. He smoked cigarillos outside all day. They were Black and Milds with the little filter on the end. So,
Yeah. But like, so you're saying like they're great.
Yeah, Tony, the guy who did Tony Target, his name was Lee Marshall. He had an oldies station that he ran. It was at one point in time very popular DJ, but radio is slowly, at least in my adult life, gone completely off the map. So this was
that's super observant of you.
Yeah, right.
We're sitting here fucking making a podcast.
Right.
Radio's dying.
I mean, yeah, it's like nobody listens to 8-tracks anymore. I don't understand.
No, I don't think they're gonna make it, man.
You know what I miss is fireside chats. But he was real funny, man. He was one of those glory day guys. Like, oh yeah, back in my day, we'd have 20 women in the booth, and I'd hit that idea, and then we'd just start, smelling the counter.
Yeah. So you're doing voiceovers.
Yeah, and I started I broke up with a girl, and it was sort of a first relationship in my adult life, and was very heartbroken, and I quit my job. I just walked out. I was like, I hate this. I feel like an adult. I work 50 hours a week. I'm selling advertising. I feel like too old. And so I walked out with my station manager behind me in the parking lot, screaming at me like, you're making a huge mistake. You'll never work in radio again. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Damn it. How will I ever get my golden walker?
Right.
So I was in a bar that night with a buddy, and he's like, well, what are you going to do? It was September 30th. I remember the date.
Damn.
He goes, so what are you going to do? Put up Christmas lights or something? It was like almost Christmas lights season. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. He's like, yeah, right. You won't do that. And I was like, watch me. So it kind of turned into like a pride thing. Like I told him I was going to do it. He said, no way. And then I grew one of California's largest Christmas light installation companies. I sold it after 18 years. I paid for my second product with the proceeds from the sale of that business, which is it's our most popular product to date, the Katz-Moses stop lock. And I did every celebrity in Southern California. We did, Home Depot shopping center, Costco shopping center. We signed an exclusivity deal with a guy who invented magnetic Christmas lights. So we could, commercial buildings all have steel flashing. So we could go around and do 250,000 square foot complex in 6 hours, with 6 guys. I charged $50,000 to do that. And it turned into this thing that paid my bills for the whole year and then some. And about 10 years later, when I was 28 or 29, I started a construction company with another guy who was an award-winning builder. And our deal was, I sort of ran the business. He ran the construction side of things. He did the estimates and ran the projects. And we had that for 9 years. And eventually we got into it with a big billionaire developer who didn't pay all of her subs at the end of the job. She kept everybody's retention and just said, fuck you, sue me. And so we did. And of course, she knew exactly what was going to happen, which is going to settle pennies on the dollar with everybody. So we got 10% of the $1 million we were owed. And I looked at my partner and said, one of us has to go. We're not going to be able to recover from this with both our salaries and the work we have coming. So I said, I'm happy to leave. I hate this company. Construction is the only business where everybody's angry at the end. Nobody likes each other. And it's like almost never did we have a happy, almost never did you walk away
Yeah.
from a project anybody's happy, right? You do
You
building.
are preaching to the fucking
Right.
choir right here with that, man.
Mhm.
It is a terrible business. Can I take you back to that because
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to glance over opportunity and being an entrepreneur, but somebody says to you, what are you going to do? Hang Christmas lights?
Mhm.
Was that something that was kind of booming at that time? Like, why would that even be on somebody's mind? And have you given that person money?
I did. The first year I let that guy partner with me.
Okay.
But I immediately after that year, he had like a full-time accounting job or something.
Yeah.
And I think I sold weed to him or something at that time, which is how I knew him. He's like a few years older than me. And I think it was like there was like somebody putting up Christmas lights in the bar or something. It was like because nobody did it at this time.
So it
Literally,
was some usual suspects. Like he
yeah,
just saw something and said it.
yeah, exactly. He's just like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna be, a wall or something? You know? But I bought 10 lawn signs that said my Santa Barbara Christmas lights had my phone number on them. And I bought a 1984 Toyota long bed pickup truck, manual transmission with no power steering, which
Beautiful.
if you've ever tried to parallel park a manual long bed truck with no
Yeah.
power
Well, not a
steering.
long bed, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it had an 8-foot bed on it, tiny Toyota trucks, but it was like, I mean, you could have fit a whole little league team in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I bought that. I hired one of my friends, bought one 12-foot ladder. I had one 12-foot ladder. And my phone rang every 5 minutes for 6 weeks. It was the craziest thing ever happened to me. I got walking pneumonia the first year because we were working so hard. And then we were also, I was making more money than I'd ever made in my whole life. So we were like, go out and drink and party and then wake up
Yeah.
at 6 a.m. and like a fucking idiot. And
Because you could.
yeah, I mean, I was
Yeah.
young. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If I did that now, I'd be out for like a week. I'd be like, listen, I gotta just sleep for a week.
Jonathan, I just took off a thumb brace,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't have it on the camera. I don't remember hurting it. I just woke up and it fucking hurt. Like
For 2 weeks here in the shop recently, I like couldn't turn my head, and people were like, "What happened?" I was like, "I checked my blind spot too hard." I like looked,
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah.
shit, man! I shouldn't have looked at that Toyota Celica in my blind spot."
Had you not been a Christmas light hanger and just went to being a lawyer, I think we have a case against the rear view cameras and all
And-
that because we don't have to turn around anymore. So
right?
our necks are trained to not to. And then
Listen,
when you're used to it,
Your Honor, it's anti-evolution. This is
yeah,
Darwinism. This is anti-Darwinism.
this is
Humans,
bullshit. I have been set up.
right? I've been set up to fail. This is what is it called? Planned obsolescence.
Those are the first word I got.
Yeah,
Planned.
Elon Musk is he's in bed with big neck brace.
That's right. He's in bed with a few other things as well.
Yeah,
But so for real though, like you started essentially just with
Christmas lights.
like signs. So
Uh-huh.
that was your sales,
That was my sales.
and then
10
from there,
10 lawn
you could
signs.
grow.
And a guy I thought was my friend charged me $45 a piece to print the signs. And the next year, of course, I got on the internet, which was kind of in
Yeah.
its infancy then, but and looked up like lawn sign printing, and it was like, oh, you can get 100 lawn signs for $2 a sign. I was like, you mother.
You motherfucker.
It was like a guy I thought was my friend. And
Well, it might have cost him that much to do it. It wasn't being farmed out at that point.
yeah, who knows? Knowing him, which I'm still friends with him today, he probably just saw. He was like, "Oh yeah, all right. I see.
Yeah.
I know a guy with more money than sense when I see one." And
And more drive, man.
right?
I mean, obviously you're driven.
Oh, I'm a lunatic. I
Yeah.
am. I have been. I was thinking about it the other day. It's like I've been working 6-7 days a week my entire adult life, and like with a vigor and a fire and a joy that most people have a tough time sort of conjuring. I love it. I love. I get like real depressed if I'm not challenging myself. I get like real like sad.
What do you like or I guess you're using the word love. What do you love the most about it?
I love the most is it's like I don't care, like money has nothing to do with it for me. It is like literally like how far can I take it? How innovative can I be? How do I solve problems? And one of the things about entrepreneurship that is amazing is you like have to solve every problem, right? Like we have too many customers and I can't just like text people, hey, you owe me $50. I gotta get accounting software, which is I hate. That's like my least favorite thing is like bookkeeping. But like, we just got comfortable here. We're in 16,000 square feet. And I said, screw it. I'll get the unit next to me. And here's another 10,000 square feet. And I literally today, we just opened up our 3D print farm with 30 printers. And that was like my move was like, well, we're starting to feel comfortable here and, paying the rent's not a big deal. And let's just 50% our overhead and buy $60,000 worth of 3D printers and see if we can make that work,
Yeah.
And
To me,
so,
that's logical, right? Like on a business sense. So
mhm,
it's you can work to, make $1 million, or you can take what you need to live, and then the remaining of that $750,000, whatever it is,
right,
put that right back into the business with intent, not
right,
with company parties and all that kind of stuff. Not that those
right.
don't, matter, but I mean, if you were going to buy or rent or lease or whatever the next facility over, you might as well, you know,
Yeah,
make money with it, do something with it,
right.
which means spending a little more money.
Exactly. Well, and like literally, I've gotten to the point in my business career, I've been an entrepreneur really since I was 14. I started a car stereo installation shop out of my parents' garage 2 years before I could get a driver's license in California. I was installing custom car stereos.
I
And
did the same thing, but it was like the reverse. But at that same age, I would take them out for people with they
did they know
and
you were going to take them out? Or was it like a
no,
surprise?
because it was a really good service. So
It
like
is.
I would just come in the middle of the night. That wouldn't even bother them.
Right. Like, listen, you sleep while we work.
Yeah, right.
Uh, fill stereo removal.
Yeah, right. If you want it back, good luck
Right.
finding us.
Whatever Craigslist was back. You
Yeah,
find your car stereo on Craigslist.
it was a high school locker, is what it was
Right.
back then.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, I got the best 1984 Volvo station wagon sound system on the planet. So, I've always been like real hungry, but also like real bored with stagnant or just sort of being, doing the same thing day in, day out. I can't do it. And so I like to innovate, and being an entrepreneur has always given that to me. It's given me the ability to like really solve problems. But it's also the thing that people don't understand is like it feels very luxurious and fun, and like from an outward, all these fucking hustle culture people on Instagram make it look, oh, I drive a Maserati and I do this and I make 50,000 a month, and it's like to actually, those people are all full of shit anyways, but to
Yeah.
actually succeed, it takes like a level of school of hard knocks and getting knocked on your ass over and over and over and over that is like not really palatable for a lot of people. um I know you've been a hustler your whole life, and it's just
Um,
the amount of years I could have been working a career and slowly progressing and building savings and all those things, and I was out here just broke and trying this and trying that and failing and succeeding a little bit and then failing some more and all those things. It was a long time of real hard life and hard work to get to a point where I felt successful.
and you feel that now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of what we've done here. My partner Mark and I, he's the same name as you, spells it differently.
With a
We
C?
Yeah.
Mm,
We
I know
have
the kind.
right. Fucking C marks.
I
God
don't
damn it.
trust them.
Right. Definitely don't leave your wallet around a C mark. We went from 120 square foot shed with no power that I used to have to run electrical cords out of the garage to we're now in 25,000 square feet, and I just got my employees' health insurance a few months ago. We are shipping, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 packages a month, and we've filed for 4 patents already this year. We'll probably make it to 6. We're innovating. We've got product. I'm so proud of what we've done. It's like we've bootstrapped it the whole way. We have no investors. We still own the entire company. We have no loans. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're gambling on yourself. I think the if you truly go through the struggles of we look at it like on the outside, like it's easy, like we're problem solving, but often we're creating problems,
Hmm.
right? So like, you get the building next to you that actually created a problem, that you need to solve. So it's that complacency of, or that not wanting to be complacent. So you're not comfortable being complacent.
Right.
So I have that, but it's because I never feel like I've succeeded.
Right.
Right. So the fact to hear that you have that and you have succeeded, when does it come to a point where you stop pushing the limits?
Right.
You stop betting on yourself and you just start, saving up. You got a daughter, you got a,
Right.
you have a legacy behind you. And then also Jonathan Katz-Moses, like you're going to have a company behind you, whether
Right.
you're alive or not, if you want. Do you think about that?
I do. I think that's that like imposter syndrome. Because when I say like, am I successful? I do believe like at this point in my life, it's very clear that we've achieved some level of success. But all of us who like really strive in the way that we do have imposter syndrome, right? Like I never think about like how successful I am. I think about the things I'm not doing, the things I should be doing. What can we do? Like, oh my, like if you ask me what's going on here, I'd tell you all the problems like we need to
Yeah.
fix, like, oh, we need to hire new people to do this. Like, I need to take these off my plate. I need to take these tasks off my partner's plate. Like, he's doing customer service emails when really he should be doing this high level stuff. All these things. Like, I'll tell you all the issues we need to fix. But anybody else looking from the outward, it's like, listen, I just saw you pull in $100,000 car, park in a parking space with your name on it, while there's 42 other parking spaces with your last name on it. Like, how are you not happy with that? And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not even close, because for me, what I want more than anything out of this life is that my daughter never has to work the way that I did. And I want her to like value success. I want her to value hard work, but I want her to be able to choose what she wants to do and not work 10 hours during the day doing construction and then go bartend at night and get 3 hours of sleep and, do that for years. I was a bartender for 9 years. I did that so I could still start my companies and not need to be profitable. Like I could still pay my bills. And so that's what success for me is, that my daughter doesn't have to worry about being forced into doing shitty jobs.
What did your parents do? And I ask this because I don't have any children, and I don't intend to. But the cross pivot, because you wouldn't be where you are if you weren't
Hmm.
or had not gone through all those things that you're mentioning that you don't want your daughter to go through.
Right. Well,
Um,
I think in reality, my parents were very successful in a middle class lifestyle. They were great providers. I don't think that uh, I ever like. I was never destitute. I was never hungry. My dad was real good about instilling the value of hard work. Like he didn't give us money. It was like, you know, uh, you want money? Well, here's some things you could do around the house. Or it's like, Dad, can I get money for the movie? He'd be like, well, I looked it up. Movie tickets are $7.25. Here's a $20 bill. I expect 13 or 12.75 back when you get home. Like it wasn't like you had
yeah,
to keep
yeah.
the extra in that shit. Um, so they're really
Don't
good
date
about
yourself or anything with a $7.25 movie.
right. Listen,
I remember the times.
right. But he wouldn't give us rides. We rode the bus all over, San Jose, San Francisco, all over the Bay Area. We would ride the bus or BART. We were free children, and sort of out there figuring it out. But like what I saw from them that is like where they're at now is, my mom's got her pension and she was like the second in charge of a public hospital, and she got her pension and all those things. And, they're obviously retired, but it's like, they're not traveling. They're not doing anything. They're, and I've helped them out with money, and my brothers have too. But what I want for me is to get to a point, which, we could be there in a couple of years, where I can pick the next project, and it's a project that I use my really great logistical and managerial sort of oversight role to manage people who are doing day to day. And I can build, generational wealth for my daughter, as well as do things I love, like building furniture without having to shoot a video on it, or
Yeah.
fly fishing, or, walking around with my girlfriend, and talking, all those kind of things. I just want to spend time with the people I love and do the things I enjoy without sort of that fear of the wolf always at the door.
Do you think you can do that? Not succeed, but do you think mentally you can actually do
Yeah,
that?
I
Like
do.
shut it off?
I think that there's a very fine line. I have a charity that I love. I would not walk away from that. I feel like I would continue to work on the charity. I feel like
What's that?
the Katz-Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund.
Okay.
We raise money and give it to people with disabilities to help them succeed in making things, give them tools and resources they need to sort of grow their hobby, passion, or side hustle. And we've donated close to $500,000 in the last like 18 months to people, and we do a lot of that kind of stuff, which is really amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. Will I be able to give it up? No chance in hell, but it'll be different. It'll be focusing on the things that, like, the people and things that really matter to me without sort of the fear of, because when I say the wolf's at the door, the wolf's been at my door for 30 years, like since I was 12. I feel like I've been working. I got my first job when I was like, I think I was selling wine guides door to door when I was like 10. But like first real job I got when I was like 14, 15, and I've never stopped. And I feel like I've always allowed the wolf to be at my door because of what we talked about before, where we like are pushing ourselves and we don't allow comfort. But I'd love to get to a point where the wolf's not at the door, and I know the things I'm doing are purely for joy. But we all know that I will be figuring out how to turn those joys into revenue. I'm
Yeah.
sure,
That's why I asked, because it's easy to, we all want the thing that we think will give us like solace. That's gonna be our Eden, but that doesn't exist technically, because if we take something to a place and we're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this, it's not like, cool, now I'm just gonna be on a beach, just chilling. I'm gonna be on the beach, and then I'm gonna see somebody, walking with a sandal that's messed up, and I'll be like, you know what? I could make a better sandal.
right?
I'm going to start Googling that right now. And like, what beach am I at? So
Right.
I'm always curious to find if there's people that actually think that people that are making it, people that are hustling, is there an actual end? Is there an end to the hustle?
No, because I think what gives me joy is challenging myself, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need to do things. Like, one thing I would love to do if I retired, like if I retired tomorrow and I got to build a shop at my house, I think it would be a metalworking shop.
Hmm.
With there'd be woodworking tools too, but I feel like that's the next thing that I would love to become a nut job about, would be like hardcore metalworking and machining. And not just like manual, but like with CNCs and 3D modeling and turning products out. Um, and then, of course, what would happen is, right, as I'd spend 2 years sort of getting good at it. And then, of course, I'd be like, well, I have this product and, I'll just kind of bring this one to market and it's just a hobby. Don't worry. And then all of a sudden I got fucking e-commerce business like I have now in 25,000 square feet. Like, God
Yeah.
damn it. Happened again.
Yeah. You
I,
got to go senile, man. You got to, you got to just get out there and just start making that's for me. That's my thing, is like, I'll get those like a day or a week or something like that in the shop where I'm not filming. I have no agenda other than this thing that I wanted to make.
right.
And I think that I'm like, this is it. But then towards the end of it, I'm already like, okay, well, this is ending. What am I doing next? I got to be, and I've lost all this time from this thing that I'm doing. And it just I never reached that point of I did it. Like, even
Right.
if it's the smallest task in the world, I already left it before I finished it, but I finished it.
Right.
I didn't leave it unfinished. I finished it, but I was mentally gone because I already planned it out. It was going to be done. I'm done. I'm out. And
Right.
now what? Now that I know this, now that I did that, now it's now what's my next move?
Right.
And I want to know when that happens, when I don't care about my next move.
I don't know that you ever will.
Yeah.
I think, like, you have a long-term partner, right? I think I don't know if you care about sharing this on the podcast, but you've been with, is it your girlfriend or your wife for a long time?
Uh, Forever girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
We go back and forth 11 to 12 years together. Yeah.
Nice. And does she understand your drive?
She has it as well within her work.
Oh,
She
awesome.
she doesn't work in a creative space, but is very she's work first. That's our biggest struggle is what about us? Because it's work,
Right.
work, work, um, which is not a terrible struggle to have, but
No.
it does matter. With that one on one, you like when somebody's around. That's when you were mentioning like taking that walk. Like, are you actually on that walk, even though you're on the walk? You know
With
what I
her, I
mean? Like,
am. Yeah.
yeah,
My girlfriend has the same drive. She's a nut job like I am. She's in a very similar industry, and we get each other. It's like when we are traveling together, it's like, hey, I want you to work. Like she's like, well, I got to do this, that, this, that. I'm like, yeah, I have the best time. I can entertain myself. I'll work too, or I'll play on my
yeah,
phone or whatever. But it never bothers us. It's always very symbiotic and we're real good. But then there's like things like those walks or those dinners where we're able to just she so, I was on a podcast. I'm a big fly fisherman, and I walked into a fly shop in Montana where I have a place in the Beartooth Mountains. And I walk in, and the guy behind the counter freezes. And I know that look. It's the I know you from YouTube look. And he
yeah.
freezes, and he's like, what are you doing in Montana? And I was like, oh, I have a place by here, about an hour and a half away. I was dropping somebody off at the airport. I want to come and say, he's like, well, oh, can you just hang out for 20 minutes? My boss is on the way down. He'd love to meet you. And so his boss comes down. Long story short, I end up on this guy's podcast a couple days later. And we start talking. I had this,
What type of podcast was it?
it was a fly fishing podcast.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm a lifetime fly fisherman. I've been doing it. My grandpa, I think I caught my first fish when I was 5 on a fly rod. And I love fly fishing like I loved woodworking when I started. And we started talking about it, and he's like, well, why is that? And he gave me this epiphany that I've never had before that was so true, which was when you are cutting something on a table saw or running a board over a jointer, or you're fly fishing and you're watching a tiny little bug 50 feet away from you float down a stream and you're waiting for that fish to hit. It's the only time in my entire life that I've ever been singularly focused. The only time, because there are such consequences to not being. When you're jointing a board, or you're going to lose your hands. Fly fishing, it's like if you're not fully focused, you'll miss a fish. And so I think for me, what with my girlfriend is she is the only other thing besides those two things I've ever experienced in my life where I can be solely focused. And I think we're similar in that way, but also we recognize when the other person's not there. It's like, listen, I see it in your eyes or in your tone of voice, like, go get some work done. Like, I see things are on your plate that you need to get off, go do it. But I think finding somebody who understands you, and that's why I asked you about this,
Yeah.
finding somebody who understands your passion and your drive, and that it's just such a core part of your person and your soul, is such an important thing. And, I think it's like real amazing when you find it, and it's real incredible.
Yeah, not to get into relationship talks, but let's do it. Uh, but like the hard part, I guess. I'm assuming your gal's newer
Yep.
in your
I mean,
life,
we've been
and which
together like
is
3 years.
yeah. So and then that's like as an adult, right? So like
Mhm.
as growing as you probably experienced in your previous relationships, you do grow from this person that you were, and that's actually where the work comes in, right?
Mhm.
Because now you have to, as your
Grow together.
purposes in life change, you have to grow together and also understand each other, but you're in different worlds and all that.
Mhm.
So that's where if you can make it, like we have that, not we have our mad downs, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
um with that comes uh I worked for this no different than working for your business. Like this is our
Certainly.
business, right? To stay together.
Mhm.
But who doesn't fantasize about just in your 40s, then finding somebody that this is exactly who I am.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was when I was 26. I was just going,
Right.
and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So like, uh, I think it's awesome that you're able to get a redo, more or
Right.
less. I don't know what you would call it.
Well, I think both of us are we both have had a marriage in our past. And one of the things I think we talk about this stuff a lot. And one of the things we say to each other is, you're my favorite person to fight with. Um, because we don't ever fight. We have disagreements, but it's like we've learned that the two most important things are we call it saying the thing, which is
Mm-hmm.
like you have to say the thing, because if you build resentment, resentment doesn't go away. And that's what ends relationships, is resentment. And
Yep.
so you, regardless of how scary or upset you think the other person will get, you have to say the thing that it's like, listen, you hurt my feelings, or I'm uncomfortable with X, or whatever these things are. But I think what comes from the level of respect that finding somebody who understands you comes from is the ability to see that you are hurt and your point of view, and either agree with it or say like, listen, you being happy, you not being upset by my actions is more important to me than me being right. Like, I may have done something that I thought was okay in the moment, or I didn't think you would be upset by, or all these things, because I would never intentionally hurt you. Um, and maybe I didn't think that should be something you should be upset about, but you are. And to me, you and I getting along is so important that I can see my fault in this, or I can agree that you know you have this boundary that I want to respect. And that's like what I think you learn as you grow older, and that comes with maturity, is like you said, is doing the work. And I think becoming real mature and really finding somebody you gel with is the ability to say like, we don't want to have to make the work hard, right? Like the work should be easy.
Yeah.
And that's not just saying sorry because you're upset. It's saying sorry because it's like, I don't want to hurt you. And that's more important to me. And because I respect you. With my girlfriend, I respect her more than any human being I've ever met. Like everything about her is amazing to me. And so if I did something that is upsetting, it was never intentional. And I want to be better in this relationship. So the work
Yeah.
is
I
easy.
mean, relationships are no different than you running your business, no different than running your personal self, right? So like a mistake isn't a mistake if you make it once, it's a mistake if you make it twice, because you didn't know you were going to do it typically the first time.
Right.
And now if you do it again, then that's a mistake. And after that, it becomes negligent,
Hmm.
like, and that all applies to your life, to your business,
Right. Well, I think
to your
one of
gal guy, whatever.
Right. Well, one of the things about being who we are and entrepreneurs and driven people is we're like the most stubborn fucking people on the planet, right? And
Yeah.
and that's how we succeed, is because we are unwilling to give up. We have unwavering grit and we have unwavering drive. And sometimes that translates into a person who is also unwilling to compromise. And being mature and growing older is knowing that sometimes you have to like compromise to get ahead. And in business, I don't have to run over everybody who wrongs me. I just have to say, you know what, maturity is knowing I don't have to respond. Or somebody writes a bad review, I don't have to write a shitty response like, oh, you used the product wrong. I don't have to fight every content creator who says something negative about, it's like, maturity is knowing that I'm going to continue to do right by me and my people, and figure out how to be better.
It's being strong enough not to say the thing that you want to say, because we'd be a fool to say,
Right.
be out here being like we don't want to say it.
Real funny. I used to do all the customer service emails when our company was smaller. And at some point, my old warehouse manager, Alex, was like, hey, man, I you can't do customer service anymore. I was like, why not? He's like, because 9 times out of 10, you just tell a person to fuck off because you're so mad about something, you know? And it's like, yeah, you're probably right. I definitely, and a couple times it's come back to bite me too, because I'll write something like, and I'm never like just like, oh fuck you, you don't like it. It'd be like they use something wrong, or it's user error, and I try and be real
Yeah.
nice and explain it to like, oh, actually, if you try this, it should work. Like, how dare you? I expect more from you. Expect more, and I'd have some and then somebody post an email on Reddit or something. I was like, oops, whoops a
That is
doodle.
not a job for me for sure. I still struggle with, because I'm with you. I'm very like, I can use like how you're talking about, telling your gal how you feel in a certain place, coming from a positive place. If there's somebody that I don't like, 20 years ago, I'm gonna tolerate it till I can't, and then we're throwing fists.
Right.
And now it's kind of like, hey, like I'm not vibing with this right now. So like, if we should separate a little bit, or you figure out some adult way to say it.
Yeah.
uh Social media, with the comments of these names that are just popping up, has been like
the biggest struggle I've ever
Yeah.
had to deal with, because I want to, like, my instinct is to be like, what? I want to like combat everything that
Right.
you're saying, because typically they're incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
And those are the things I want to respond to. I don't want to, you can motherfuck me. You can call me an asshole. You can call me an idiot. That doesn't bother me. It's when you
Right.
just say like the dumb thing that means you're not thinking, you're not even trying
Right.
to be helpful, much like a customer service user error,
Right.
basically. Uh, that's the maturity, is like going like, all right, delete, like not
Yeah.
respond to that one. Uh,
Yeah. I've been doing it.
it's brutal out there.
It is. I've been doing it 9 years on social media. And I used to respond to every comment. If someone was negative, I'd fight with them. I'd argue with them. And you get better and better and better. Early on, David Picciuto, I was talking to him much the way that I reached out to you when you were first posting on Instagram. David Picciuto reached out, hey, you're doing a great job. If you ever want to chat, let's chat. And we started talking. He's like, hey, if you're going to do this, you have to have the thickest skin in the world, and you have to just be okay with people saying shitty things. And I tried, and it was like hard, and I got better and better, and you do get so much better at it. But every once in a while now, after 9 years, somebody hits something that's like an insecurity, something that you're insecure about, and you could have 10,000 positive comments on a video, and somebody says one thing that's like, you look fat in that shirt, and you're like, I'm gonna, whatever. But
And they're not even responding to anything that you were doing in your
Right.
content. It's just you piece of shit. Like,
I hate your face and you're ugly.
yeah, right. And you're like, son of a bitch.
I know.
I knew something was wrong with my face.
But I've gotten to the point now where I'm pretty good. I just, like you, I just delete or I block instantly. I'm just like, I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
It's not worth my mental health at this point in my life.
Well, I'm doing it with, I'm fine on the socials. I don't really care. My skin's thick enough. Like I always say, like, there's very little you can do other than hit me to make me be mad at you. But if you even look at, my gal or my friend or somebody wrong, that's a different sort of thing. But going down that YouTube route that I'm trying to go right now, it just opened up a different door of types of people.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I didn't realize that exists. Yeah. Like it's a brutal place. So I'm just getting to where I'm like coming to a place with it, because I just started. I mean, I've had it for 6 months, but I just started posting like 3 months ago or something. And now I'm like, all right, we're cool. But some of them are very well written.
I know
about how much I suck. So it's like,
and
you gotta read them, because YouTube's a little more, of a business. So I want to make sure I don't miss somebody's comment that I should be responding to, and
two tips I'll tell you from a very seasoned YouTuber. One is you can hide somebody from your channel. So you click the 3 dots next to their name in YouTube Studio and you say hide user from channel. They don't know they've been hidden. They can continue to watch and comment on your videos. They can see their own comments, but nobody else can, including you. You'll never see them again. The other part about that's amazing is you can say, fuck you, motherfucker, hide user from channel. They'll see your response, but they will never be able to respond to you.
I like that.
So I'm not going to say how much I do that, but it happens from time to time. But I usually just hide people. Hide. Because you still get credit for the comment, and they still think they commented, and
Yeah. I feel bad for the females that are out there, doing the work to make content, because if I'm getting to a point where I'm like, oh man, like I just want to give out my address and whoever wants to come by, let's handle this thing. They don't even have that option. And then you're already making fun of me for the way I look, and you're a man. What are you doing to the gals that are out there?
Yeah.
That's just gotta be rough, so power to them for pushing through it.
It's harder than you could possibly imagine. My girlfriend does what we do.
Is she? Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah. And I won't name names, but
Martha Stewart, or
it's Martha Stewart.
After
she broke up with Snoop, she came crawling back. But
as long as it's not J-Lo, because you might be in some trouble coming
listen,
up.
man, J-Lo's got me beat by like 7 marriages. So
She's about to get beat by 7 years in prison, probably
I
with all this
know.
stuff.
Jesus Christ.
No kidding, right?
That's a wild. I mean, we're not in a position to make it
No,
interesting but we'll have to talk about it soon because
I am
it's
wearing
crazy.
white.
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
I know. I've not been to a Diddy party. I just want everybody to know. But she was doing a build for a company that had sponsored her to build this thing, and there was several other people working on it, and I don't want to give away too many details. This might give away what it was, but
Sure.
she was doing something incredible. It was the best part of this whole project by so much. It was light years ahead of anybody else working on it. It was beautiful. And I came to see her and help for a day, do like some demo, clear some garbage. I did it. I made a couple cuts on the miter saw to help out, cut some trim up, and I was there for one day, and she wanted to finish something the next day. So we came back and all the people that had been there were there, but everyone else was kind of cleaning up and gone. I walked in with her, and one of the guys walked to me. He's like, dude, you did an amazing job on this to me. And I was like, what do you mean? She's been working on this for 2 weeks. Like, I was here for like a day doing trim, and it's like instantly it was like, oh, there's a guy here. She had nothing to do with it. It was like, I was flabbergasted. Luckily, something was said immediately that put him in his place, but it was like pretty wild. And then just the comments like, oh, it's so cute. Your husband lets you use his tools, like, where's all the people behind the camera that are helping you? It's like wild.
That's I mean, well, I want to ask follow up, but I don't want to give any people out, so I won't ask follow up. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and just also to me, it's not crazy that exists, but the craziness to be that close to what is existing and you're still making comments, so this isn't a YouTube, comment. This is a straight up
in-person comment. It was
like
wild.
One person removed 50% of your heart, is in that
Well, he
person.
said it with her standing right next to me. Like, it was like, he's like, you did such an amazing. I was like, I did nothing. And she is, like, for reals, the most talented, creative person I've ever met. The award she's won is like crazy. The accolades she's gotten is insane. The recognition from the biggest celebrities and magazines and places on the planet. And like, I'm nothing compared to her with her like design and all that stuff. And so to like literally be there for 24 hours and get credit from somebody who had been there the whole time, had seen her working, wasn't like he just walked in and was like, oh, Jonathan, you crushed it. But it was just like, I had been there for a minute. So it was like, oh, clearly the man must have done. It was.
Yeah.
And she tells me,
like you come in and you're like, I'm Jonathan Katz-Moses and I'm going to cut this board.
Right.
And people listen to you. they start looking at you. They're like, damn, he cut that board well.
Well, and that's like the thing we try and avoid too, is like, it sucks that she's worried about being Jonathan Katz-Moses' girlfriend instead of being who she is. And like, Jesus Christ, I would be her assistant all day. I would like her skill. It's like unbelievable. I've never been so amazed by somebody in my whole life. But it's wild. And what we do, and going back to comments and all those kind of things, it's just people behind keyboards with no knowledge. And you're like a crazy experienced builder. I know you've been building furniture a long, long time and doing construction a long time. And you got people on there who watched one Wood Whisperer video from 2017 where he said one, and they're like, no.
But they do see that one thing that you didn't say or do,
right?
And they're not wrong. And that's what pisses you off. But you're an asshole because you're just like, I only had 60 seconds.
Right.
I did what I could.
Right. My whole thing is I am very much one or two takes usually, and I never write a script, and I'm real good at like saying it clearly, being really good at explaining, but I fuck up words regularly. Like, I have a YouTube video coming out, that shoebox I built. That should be out any day now. We're just waiting for approval from Major League Baseball. But there's this part where I said, I was talking about bandsaw blades and gullets and why you need a certain thing. And I said, I usually use a 3/4 inch board, and I should have said blade. But it's way too late now, we shot that 4 weeks ago. And I just roll with it, but I know everyone's going to, what do you mean board? What do you mean board?
You idiot.
You idiot.
What are you, a fucking idiot?
It's like, dude, I just gave you science on bandsaw blades that you have never heard in your whole life, and I blew your mind. So just know what I
Yeah.
meant to. I meant to say blade. You know.
Well, I hope to get. I mean, you definitely, obviously everything takes, but the talking directly to the camera, that whole thing is it's something to be learned. I mean, I hope that I can get it. I get it. I mean, I'll do 20 minutes for a minute and a half, because
Mhm.
but I'm also a perfectionist, so I'm trying to learn to like push through
Yep.
the perfection. So when I just like kind of stumble, that's human nature. As long as I
Yep.
just move through it. But I hope. I mean, like from seeing that video that I saw just a little bit over a year ago to the fact that I'm talking to you now, I'm to me, I've succeeded.
Totally.
So now I'm gonna go on a walk with my gal. There's gonna be no wolves chasing me, brother.
Right? Get to take 20 minutes for yourself. It's an important skill, but also, I go back and watch my first videos I posted. Like, it's wild difference. It's a skill that I think is almost nobody has from the get go, and that you develop. And every time I think I'm the best I've ever been, like this has happened to me many times the last few years, where I'll be like, I am as good as it gets. We'll be putting out a video and editing, and I'll go back and have to link an old video from a year ago and be like, oh, wow, I'm so much better than I used to be. Like, I'm as good as it gets. And then a year later, I'll be doing the same thing. And I'll go back to that video where I said, I'm as good. And I'm like, oh, shit, I sucked,
Yeah.
But here's like 2 tips that really worked for me that like turned the corner for me, because I was real bad at first. Was 1, do 1 take without recording. So no pressure, right? Like, not recording. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. Do your second take recording, and pretend that you're talking to your best friend or your girl, and like really picture that camera as them. That was like a big turning point for me. Someone gave me that tip, and it seems dumb, but
I
I
don't
would
think
just
that seems dumb at all.
pretend I was talking to my friend Roger, who's like my
Yeah.
favorite banter friend that, like, hey, the back and forth. He's real funny and quick. And I'd pretend I was talking to him. And now that's how I talk to the camera. I still think I'm talking to him. And he'd probably be real embarrassed if he heard that.
Are you recording yourself to this day, or do you have
No,
somebody?
Mark, my partner, he's been with me.
So you have somebody that you are actually technically talking to now.
Yeah, but like, I mean, we've been together so long that like we don't even have to talk. Like, he knows what I want to record. He knows, like, okay, head over to the table saw. He sets up shot exactly. Or like we're doing montage. 60p B-roll. And he knows exactly where I'm going, what I'm going to do. I know how to stay out of his way. I know exactly what he needs from me. I know that when we talk and explain something, the second we're done, we don't even have to say it. I reset it all up so we can shoot the B-roll portion. It's like, so that part is very comfortable. But I think when I'm having a tough time, I get more flustered because I feel like I'm wasting his time,
Got it.
So it holds
It's
me
almost
accountable.
more pressure actually having somebody there.
Totally. But it also makes me better, makes me prepare more. Like if I was recording myself, I'd be like, fuck it, let's go record. But since it's like his time too, I'll be like, I'm going to practice for 20 minutes, or I'll write an outline so I don't miss any key points or something.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, literally, like since you started, first time I saw your videos to now, you've already massively improved, and you will massively improve by the next time we record one of these, I'm sure. So
Thank you.
It's just it's a muscle, man. Being on camera, talking, public speaking, all that stuff is a muscle.
Public speaking, fuck. That is not my thing. I don't look at this as public speaking. I know, but
Really?
I'll do it one day. But yeah, that's a tough one for me.
Right. Me, I'm like, give me the microphone.
Yeah, like that. Like I have, other than heights, public speaking is one of those takes my gut away. But that said, I had a terrible scenario in high school that I think like eliminated that from me. Terrible teacher, terrible, all that kind of stuff just gutted me. But it is one of those things. I don't lack the confidence to know that I could do it.
Right.
But good fucking God, I hope everybody is there for the first day that I do it, because it's going to be a Silicon Valley, Richard fucking, if you've seen the show, like I'm
it's
throwing up in something in front of somebody, like it's going to be brutal. So that the tough guy persona is going to go real quick
Right
down
out the
to his
door.
knees.
Yeah. It's so funny. I've always been the guy who's like, yeah, give me a microphone. I'll do a tight 15. I'm giving, my company's sponsoring the Texas Woodworking Fair in November.
I'll be there.
Oh, I can't wait.
I plan to do 15 minutes. I thought we discussed this.
Listen, dude, come by the booth. You can do a tight 15 if you want. But I'm giving
you guys got a bucket.
Right. I just don't eat too much. Don't have shrimp beforehand. I'm giving 3 talks, product development. I'm telling my No 0 Days story where I got jumped by 10 gang members. I'm doing a demo of one of our products, our new patented jig square. And like, I haven't done much prep. I keep notes on my phone. Notes on your phone's a real good one because you can, like, when you think of something, you're like, I need to remember that. Just put it, keep the same notes. But then, like 3 days out, I'll write all 3 talks. I'll practice them a little bit on the plane and be all right.
But you got it though, man. I mean, you have it, whether it took years to have. I mean, you got it. Truthfully, like you're on my podcast. I didn't even need to be here. I could have just let you go, dude.
I always worry. That's a funny thing. I always worry that if I had my own podcast, it would just be me
talking,
yapping for an hour. Just like, listen, buddy, just send in a picture of yourself. I'll put it on the screen. I think more importantly, like one of my favorite things about what I do is like teaching and like mentoring and like giving people sort of the knowledge that I've gotten over 25 years of entrepreneurship and hard knocks. And I feel like I have a little bit to offer to a lot of people who might be where I used to be. And so I really love it. So I'd love to do a podcast. I think I struggle with the commitment and the labor behind it. Cause I'm already working 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah. So, well, why not just do one you?
Right.
Like you don't need a guest.
It's true. No, I think it'd be fun. I think
break down a season.
Right.
Into what you want to say and just go off.
Might be interesting. What would be interesting is like, 10 steps to start a business, and it's like 10 episodes, or 10 steps to grow a successful business, or 10 steps to, I don't know. So 8. That might be
people
fun.
Will listen to it, and if it's good, which I'm sure it would be, it's marketable. Package it up, put it on Amazon, write it into a book. Done deal.
Yeah, I'd love to tell I got a pretty crazy life. I feel like I've had a lot of stuff. I feel like people would be interested in hearing about some of it. You'll hear it when you're. I know you seem like an interesting guy, Mark. I from the second I saw you, I was like, that's a guy I'd be friends with. So it'd be fun to swap.
Well, let's not keep the friendship digital. Let's meet up. So when we're in Texas,
second
let's
base
hook up if we could. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm a straight to medium to heavy talk. So I just assume start stealing second.
Right. Heavy petting.
Third, yeah.
Heavy petting.
If things go well, I might try to steal home. If I haven't said it before, Jonathan Katz-Moses, thank you for doing this podcast.
Of course.
It was my pleasure, and truly one of the better experiences I've had talking to somebody through the internet.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark.
I'll hopefully see you in person.
In Texas. Actually, if you don't mind, Mark, if you don't mind me promoting a few things.
Absolutely.
I know you're going to be at the Texas Woodworking Festival, which my company, Katz-Moses Tools, or KMTools.com, is the platinum sponsor. If you want to head over to KM Tools, that is where we have all of the tools I've designed, invented, and created, as well as a bunch of other great products where we always say, if it's in our store, it's in my shop. So everything on our website, I believe in fully, and I think you will think is either the best in its category or the best value. So go check that out, or of course, check me up on YouTube or Instagram, which Katz-Moses, Jonathan Katz-Moses, you'll find me very easily. Not a lot of Katz-Moses out there. And again, Mark, it's been fun watching your growth and your success, and I appreciate you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. See you in Texas.
Of course. Later, brother.
This is one of those conversations I wish I was going full Rogan. We could go 3-4 hours. I think Jonathan could do 3-4 hours by himself. That man's got a gift for gab. He's not even here anymore. So I'm going to call him Johnny Katz because I just like it. And if you guys like Johnny Katz, slide up into my DMs. You know what? Slide up into his DMs and let him know Johnny Katz is here to stay. But good God, the gift for Gab is a gift I just want to keep opening. I could talk to him for hours. And it makes me know why I'm doing this. The goal of doing this is not just to sit here on the computer and talk to this camera lens, and I want to talk to people face to face. That's why I start this. There's nothing better than, sitting at a hotel bar and just meeting a complete stranger and just learning about them. The things that I've learned. Some of it I wish I could forget, but hey, it makes me stronger, right? So I can't wait to get this on the road. So please be liking and subscribing, doing the whole thing. And while you're doing the whole thing, why the hell are you not going to bananabag.org and putting in the promo code Streamline? Not only is this a sponsor, this is a sponsor I sought out. This is legit the best hydration you are going to ever find in your life. The fact that you aren't as hydrated as me every day, I just look at you and I feel bad. Get hydrated. But for real, I had a few bourbons tonight. I'm probably going to have another one to unwind. I had one of these earlier. I know when I have one in the morning to combat or to add to this one, I'm going to feel like $1 million. And that's all due to Banana Bag. So get on it. bananabag.org, promo code Streamline. You get 10% off. This is me. This is your boy giving you 10% off. So do it. Big shout out to Jonathan. He mentioned a charity as well. I have a link for that. So click that if you're looking to donate or at least learn about it. And buy stuff from him. Buy stuff from me. Buy stuff from anybody. I don't really care. But what I do care about is that you hit promo code Streamline. Do you understand? Streamline is your promo code. All right, I'm messing with you, but seriously, do it. Stay hydrated. Let's get hydrated. Let's be hydrated together. Thanks for listening. Until next time.